Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. We're back with the Liber Hereticus, the army lists for traitor legions in Warhammer the Horus Heresy. Moving on to the third legion in this book, my personal favorite, the Night Lords. They are the spooky boys. They're all about bullying other legions, and they probably make the most prolific use of pinning and fear of anything in this game that's not demons, because everybody's got some kind of version of fear. All your characters are going to cause fear. And your Primarch himself is fear 3, meaning all units within 12 of them are -3 to their leadership when they're making morale or pinning checks. So that's important as you are basically trying to take advantage of attacking fleeing troops or pinned troops as reflected in your special rules here. And these guys are the not nicest of legions. They were also very close to being traitors prior to the Horus Heresy, and in fact hadn't really been under Imperial command for quite some time. They were recruited from a gang planet where crime was just absolutely out of control. And the Night Haunter basically brought it under like sort of like some kind of rule through fear and terror. He was the terror machine of the Emperor and would cause compliance by just making such an example out of a planet that all the other planetary systems would just fall into line. He was kind of like a one-man Death Star in that way. So if you want a chapter that is in no way trying to be good guys, they're in on the giant joke that is the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and have one of the best post-Horus Heresy series of novels probably ever written for Warhammer 40,000, which is the Nightlord Trilogy by good old Aaron Dembski-Bowden. I think the Night Lords are probably for you. So they got kind of a Judge Dredd thing going on. It gets even crazier later on where they can form a biker gang as one of the rights of war. But let's jump in and see what their deal is. So obviously this review is designed to show you sort of the ins and outs of the Legion, what their strengths and weaknesses are, what their focus might be, and see if it's right for you. Let's jump in right now and check out their core special rule. The Night Lord special rule gives you a talent for murder. When a unit made up entirely of models with this special rule attacks during the fight subphase or makes a shooting attack against an enemy unit that's pinned, falling back, or outnumbered by the attacking unit, it gains +1 to all wound and arm penetration rolls made during the shooting attack or assault. When determining if a unit's outnumbered, models of the bulky rule count as that number of models, and vehicles count as 10. So if you're shooting a vehicle, doesn't matter what kind of vehicle it is, and you've got 11 guys, you get +1 AP. So lots of bonuses there from the point of view of getting to get +1 to wound, and there's lots of ways to cause pinning, and of course fallback will happen more often too if you've got lots of models that cause fear. You get the Panoply of Slaughter, all your special war gear, and Children of the Night, what music they make, is your Warlord Traits. They also have one of my favorite advanced reactions. It seems very simple, but I think it's going to be one of the most frustrating things probably ever. So once per battle, when you are targeted by a charge during the assault phase, you can just fall back and then immediately rally. You don't count as falling back, you suffer no penalties for falling back, but you roll 2d6 and run towards your table edge. And if at the end of that move you're out of charge range, the charge can be redirected somewhere else, but you just get away. You just go, nope, I'm not fighting you, and you leave. I think that's hilarious and very much a Night Lords thing where they just don't play by the rules that the other legions kind of find themselves bound by, and they have literally no concept of honor. They will fight dirty and fight, in a way that basically is to their advantage at all times, which is why they were already kind of disintegrating into being space pirates before the heresy even began. It didn't help that their Primarch was insane and they had no faith in him basically for most of it. Where other legions venerated their Primarch, they were like, this guy's losing his mind. Yeah, super powerful. I love that. I love that they just run away and say no, they get charged once per game. Their Warlord Traits, they have a traitor one only for the Warmonger. This Warlord any unit he joins gets +1 hit rolls when targeting any enemy units that include one or more models with the independent character and loyalist allegiance, because they like to bully the good guys. Furthermore, if the army that includes a warlord with this trait also includes a detachment of Sons of Horus, because these are the guys who basically were throwing in with Horus right away, they gain, them and the unit they join gain the Fearless special rule, because Horus is watching. So basically, the idea behind Warmonger is he's already given up on Kurz, and they've been fighting with the Sons of Horus for so long, he's like, okay, those guys are Let's just follow them. It's just going to be better. Our Primarch's lost his mind. Let's just go there instead. You also get to make an additional reaction during the shooting phase as long as you're still alive. And a cool themed reason to take an allied unit of Sons of Horus to get the extra bonus. Now, Jedi Clanlord goes with one of your rights of war. It's maybe my favorite of these. A Warlord with this trait and all models that are part of his unit that he joins gain counterattack +1 and ignore all penalties to movement and charge rolls due to terrain and reroll all failed dangerous terrain rolls. They're called to make upon. In addition, an army whose Warlord has this trait can make an additional reaction during the movement phase. Flaymaster, and as long as it not removes a casualty, that's going to be real important in a second. And then Flaymaster, a Warlord with this trait gains Fear 1. So again, I said lots of ways to get fear here. And each time a Warlord is part of a combat that results in all enemy units being destroyed by either having their models removed or getting run down in a sweeping advance, or that's part of a challenge in which an enemy combat is removed as a casualty, you increase the fear by +3. He just starts cutting pieces off people and sticking them on his armor. So by the end of if you've killed one person in a challenge or two people in a challenge, your fear 3, every unit within 12 of you is now -3 leadership from morale and pinning. That's going to be real popular just because it lets you like up your fear value and yeah, cause more pin checks and people falling back. And so you have 2 rights of war. My first one's my favorite one because it basically turns you into like baby White Scars. You become a biker gang. A detachment using this right of war can take up to 5 HQ choices, regardless of Force Org slot. And they all must be Legion Centurions, and 1 must be a Legion Praetor. They all get Jadek Clanlord as a Warlord trait, and the Warlord never counts as killed until all 5 of them are dead. So you basically have 5 Warlords. They all give counterattack +1 to themselves and whoever they join, and they all give the reroll dangerous terrain tests. They also have to be given bikes. So they must all be mounted on either Spathated combat bikes or Scimitar jet bikes. No choice. No jump packs, just everybody on bikes. But you all become Jadek Clanlords. You're a biker gang. You're literally a biker gang. It makes me so happy. It's kind of insane. You only get 1 free reaction though. You don't get 5 additional reactions for having 5 Warlords. And then Legion Outrider squads can be taken as troop choices in this detachment. So you get to be a biker gang. So all 5 of your heroes can lead 5 units of Outriders. And yeah, God, I hope those bikes come out in plastic, because if the minute that stuff comes out in plastic, I am literally making the Jadek Clanlord like Space Marine Legion biker gang, because that's amazing. And then limitations, it can only be for a primary detachment. A detachment using this right of war may not take any models whose rules state that it must be their Warlord, including but not limited to your Primark. So you just don't care about the Primark. And then attachment using this right of war may not take any units that are heavy, bombard, slow, super heavy artillery, because you're biker gang. So sure, be a biker gang. Be all Jadek Clanlords. I just love that right of war. And then finally, Terror Assault. This one allows you to implement the night fighting rules in any game you play, always for the first 2 turns of the game. On the 3rd turn, on a 4+, it's still night, and on a 4th turn, it always ends. Terror squads and Night Raptor squads can be taken as troops, and any model with the Legion Astartes Night Lord special rule in the character subtype gain Fear +1. So just automatically Fear +1. You're not a Flame Master, won't get better, but all your characters cause fear. This right of war can only be a primary detachment. You only get a single heavy support choice, and any army whose primary detachment has this right of war can't take any super heavy subtype units or Lords of War choices. So yeah, you're like a Night Terror army. So that one's going to be popular because I think it's just thematic. The biker gang, man, as soon as there's Legion Outriders that aren't resin, that I don't have to order from England, I will be making the Night Lords biker gang for sure. Okay, Armory of the Night Lords. So this is your extra gear you can take. All your chain swords can be upgraded to being these chain weapons, and any character can exchange a power weapon for a chain blade or chain glaive for 10 points, or a headsman's axe for 15 points. And they all count as chain weapons, and they're basically they're not chain. Sorry, I guess your regular chain swords can't be equipped for them, but your power weapons can. So a chain blade's +1 strength, AP3, melee, shred, breaching 6+. So they all have breaching 6+. They all have shred. And the chain glaive is +2 AP3, and a headman's axe is ×2 AP3, but not unwieldy, which is cool. So ×2 strength, AP3, melee 2-handed, shred, and breaching 6+ to go to AP2. The Eschaton Power Claw is basically if a Power Fist and a Lightning Claw had a baby. It's ×2 AP2, melee, shred, murderous strike 6+, unwieldy, and specialist weapon. So instant death on a 6, shred, so you can fish for them, and then yeah, let's get our ×2 strength on, so be strength 8. And then Lords of Murder. So any model with both the independent character and Legion of Strays Night Lord special rule that does not also have the unique subtype can be given Bloody Murder for 5 points. When a unit comprised entirely of models with special rule, and there are some terror squads and stuff later that all have Bloody Murder, declares a charge targeting a unit that's pinned or falling back, you get additional +1 to the roll. And if it's successful, then all models get +1 attack as well. You bully fleeing scared people. And then Prey Sight, all models in a unit composed of models with the Night Lord special rule may be given Night Vision for 15 points per unit. It doesn't affect your blind though, it's not an infravisor, it's just like better. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of the Night Lord's books is whenever they're hunting something and they just shut the power off and go Prey Sight and all their light, and they get like the Predator vision. And then Trophies of Judgment. Any model with the Night Lord's special rule and character unit subtype can be given the Fear 1 special rule for 10 points. And that includes all your unit leaders. So if you're a character and a Night Lord for 10 points, you basically get a trophy rack and become Fear. And if you already have Fear X, it does not get upgraded by this, but you can give out Fear to all your unit leaders and just have a 12-inch aura bubble to like reduce leadership. So like I said, leadership debuffs all over the place here. All right, Conrad Kurz, the Mad Primarch. He sees visions of his own death. He's a psyker. That's even in here rules-wise. He's got weapon skill 8, blitz skill 7, initiative 7, and 7 attacks. He's pretty fighty in melee. His Nightmare Mantle gives him a 2+ armor and 4+ invul. And additionally, he ignores all modifiers to his movement from any source, automatically passes dangerous terrain tests, and when he runs, adds 12 instead of his initiative to his movement. So he just runs 20 inches. He is a hit-and-run, hidey Batman monster. His lightning claws are called Mercy and Forgiveness. They use user strength, so strength 6, but they have shred, so reroll, and murderous strike 4+. So they cause instant death kind of all the time, and they're AP2. He has the Widowmakers. They're like a set of like throwing knives that explode out of him, and they are range 12-inch, strength 4, AP 5, assault 3, and rending 4+. He has the Legion of Astartes Night Lords special rule, Master Legion, hit and run, so he can run away. Not quite as fast as Korax, but still pretty good. But he's Fear 3. If you're within 12 of them, you're -3 leadership. He's the King of Terrors, which means that when him and any unit he's joined ends a combat, removing all enemy models as casualties or destroying an enemy unit due to a sweeping advance. All enemies that can draw a line of sight of him and not locked in combat make a pin check immediately. So if he kills a whole bunch of stuff, everybody that can see him makes a pin check. That's because it's just so terrifying what he does to people. They all make pin checks at -3 leadership if they're within 12, because, you know, he's Fear 3. So enjoy not doing anything for most of your turn unless you're a vehicle. Then he's got Bloody Murder. That's going to be the same as the Bloody Murder rule earlier. So he's +1 to charge if you're pinned or falling back, and he gets +1 attack if he does so. Night Vision, sees in the dark, and a Death Long Foreseen. It is a glimpse the death psychic power that he can roll. At the start of any assault phase, he doesn't gain the Psyker subtype though. He just has that psychic power. It's interesting. You don't get the subtype. Oh no, he does. Sorry, he does have Psyker subtype. Never mind. I didn't see it there. He's Primark and then Psyker unique. It just didn't say that it gave it to him here. He can make at sort of any assault phase a psychic test, and it's always been a leadership of 7 because he's not a particularly good psyker. If he passes it, he gains Feel No Pain 4+ and +1 attack, but if he fails, he suffers perils of the warp. And then he's the King of Terrors. Sorry, we saw that one already. Traitor, and then Slayer of the Night Lords. All models with the Infantry Dreadnought or Cavalry type and Legion of Astartes Night Lords rule that are in the same army as Kurz gain Night Vision and Bloody Murder automatically and are immune to the effects of fear. In addition, an army that has Conrad Kurz, its Warlord, gets an additional reaction in the movement phase as long as he's alive. So, yeah, he's a big terror bubble. He gets into melee, he kills stuff, and then, like, just explodes out pin checks. So don't expect to not be pinned. Unless you're fearless or immune to fear for whatever reason because you cause fear, certain armies are going to have a big problem with Conrad Kurz, just locking down their infantry and keeping them from doing anything during their turn. So he does... I like that he does what he says in the tin. He's a fun Primark miniature-wise, and yeah, crazy fast and super, super murdery. Speaking of terror squads, they're your sort of veteran squad, but not with 2 wounds. They have 2 attacks. They get Executioner's Headman. They just have chainswords and bolt pistols. They can be upgraded as well to have bolters, full kite chargers, rotor cannons, and flamers. Any model can have those. So they're kind of like an elite sort of veteran, sort of support squad. But they cause Fear 1. They have Precision Strike 6+, Bloody Murder, Infiltrate, and Preferred Enemy Infantry. So they always fight infantry with rerolls, which is amazing. You can also take chain blades, chain glaives, and chain axes. They're pretty versatile equipment-wise. They're basically like super space pirates. But the one wound for 115 points and 18 points each, they're kind of spendy. You want to get the jump on stuff, and you definitely want to get those pin checks off on people if you can. So you can take advantage of having people already be pinned. If you have 10 or more models, or 10 or less models, you take a Rhino, a Dreadclaw drop pod, or a Legion drop pod as a dedicated transport. And then Night Raptors, hey, the Proto-Raptor for like Chaos Space Marine Raptors. 4 Raptors and a Huntsman are going to cost you 185 points. Weapon skill 5, 2 wounds, 2 attacks. They do have that nice 2 wound stat. Power armor, frag and crack grenades, chain swords, and bolt pistols. They have Sudden Strike 1, so initiative 5 on the charge. Bloody Murder, Fear 1, and Night Vision automatically. 10 more guys can cost you 25 points each, so you get up 15 in the squad if you want. Same with this one, it's weird, it's 15, not 20. Any model can have a chain blade, chain glaive, lightning claw, or power weapon. And then you can have 2 lightning claws as well. And up to 1 in 5 models can have flamers, melta guns, plasma pistols, or hand flamers. They basically are equipped almost identical to a Raptor squad in a Chaos Space Marine army. But again, no like Rite of War for Raptors. It's all about bikes, which I found weird. Oh, actually, sorry, the Rite of War for the Raptors is the Terror Assault, because they do become troop choices. Sorry, not just Terror Squads, also the Night Raptors do. I misspoke there. So there you go. And they all cause Fear 1, because that's what you do. You debuff everybody with your units. And then maybe my favorite thing, because they show up all the time later on in the Night Lords novels, the Contakar Terminator Squad. So they mistrusted the leadership, because they're all like ex-gang members. They're all these like space pirate captains basically leading the companies so much that there was a special company of elite veteran Terminators that were raised from Terra that were kind of like the de facto leadership of the Legion. And they held everything together, and they would get sent to like dispose of like the guys who go rogue and reinstall sort of like order into the Legion companies when they would go rogue, because it happens so often. So the Contakar are these like super Terminators, weapon skill 5, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8. They're led by a dissident, and they have Tartarus armor, either a heavy flamer for all of them or a Volkite Cavator, which is 10-inch range, strength 6, AP 5, heavy 4, and Deflagrate, so a really cool like short-range gun, and a chain blade. The Chosen Warriors, they can always shoot challenges, Stubborn, Lords of the Night, Deep Strike, and Fear 1. If a single Contakar Terminator squad numbering no more than 10 models can be taken as a compulsory HQ choice in any army in which Savitar or Conrad Kurz aren't present. So unless the only other 2 guys that can always control the Legion aren't there, this Terminator squad can just lead the army, which I think is amazing, because like they're just all little petty warlords. They're petty gang bosses and stuff like that leading the Legion. They never really actually had control of the Legion all through the Great Crusade. And these guys show up and like take it over. So 5 models can be in a Land Raider carrier, or actually just a Legion Land Raider carrier. I think that's supposed to be Proteus or a Legion Dreadclaw drop pod. And then you get up to 10 more guys for 40 points each, and the Dissident can have his Eschaton Power Claw. So the big old super chain fist claw thing. And if you have Savitar as your army leader, then you can take him as a retinue. But they're the only guys he can they'll retinue for, because he's the only guy who's in charge of like the Legion that way. And then there he is, Savitar, the Prince of Crows, the first captain of the Night Lords and the Master of the Atramentar. So basically the guy who's like actually strong enough to get everybody to follow him. Weapon skill 7, bliss skill 5. He's like a super praetor, initiative 6. Bolt pistol, Knight's Whisper, which is his like super chain blade. Plus 2 strength, so he's strength 6 with it. AP 2, melee 2-handed, duelist edge 1. So he's got initiative 7 and a challenge. Murderous strike 6 and master crafted. Artificer armor and iron halo, frag and crack grenades. He's Fear 2, Precision Strike 4, Dirty Fighter. If he's in a challenge, all of his attacks gain instant death as long as the model has a weapon skill 5 or more. So he's fighting anybody who's worthy of fighting him. He dirty fights them. He stabs them in the squishy bits. And then he's got Bloody Murder, which means he's got that fallback charge bonus, which could result in an extra attack. And then Dark Dreams. He is a Psyker as well, a latent Psyker. So he can make a leadership check on leadership 7, and if he passes, get +1 weapon skill on attack or suffer perils to the warp during the assault phase. He has like a baby version of the dreams that his Primark has. Extremely cool. Savitar's a great character, and you'll read all about him in the Horus Heresy novels. He also is one of the key figures in tormenting the Dark Angels and stuff too. His Master of the Atramentar, any unit of Cataphracti Terminators and Tartarus Terminators included in the same detachment as Savitar can gain Deep Strike. So basically his whole thing is he always calls in the reserves at the right time. So normally they can't, but they can, and they get preferred any Legion Tartarus Terminators and Cataphracti Terminators in the same detachment that are part of the Deep Strike Assault that don't include Savitar. They gain the preferred enemy everything special roll for the duration of the turn in which they're deployed, because he just calls them in at the right time to cause murder. In addition, he gets an additional reaction in the movement phase as long as he's not been killed. And there you go, a nice deep blue lightning strikes. These are like the most non-legionary legionaries, I think, probably in the Horus Heresy. There are some that have the non-gang markings, and I guess the Terrans would probably be like the non-Nostromans would be a lot more likely to not be all jacked up and covered in people's skin and bones. But for the most part, the gang fighters stay gang fighters. I love all of the color schemes in here. That Praetor with the chain blade is really cool. Here's the Condacars, which are awesome. There's a jump pack Praetor with a chain blade as well. There's Savitar, and of course Conrad. Beautiful miniatures all. Some of the new ones done up with an upgrade sprue. Look at that Night Lord's Terror Squad headsman with the upgrade. So that's the Mark 6s with that new headsman upgrade. I'm hoping those are the new plastic upgrade frames. And I'm really hoping this is a plastic Leviathan with upgrade bits on it, because look at how cool that is. And then the resin raptors, Night Raptors and stuff, and the resin dreadnought. And there it is. We're on next to the World Eaters. So if you like, basically if you play blue decks in Magic and you like debuffing your opponent to the point where they want to scream, keep them from doing stuff with pinning checks and terror, and generally make an example out of lesser Marines. If you get the joke that is the Imperium, then the Night Lords might be for you, and they're definitely for me. I really hope those bikes come out so I can make a Night Lord Legion. I have my Alpha Legion, already painted, but I'm looking for a second Loyalist faction, traitor faction, and the Night Lords are my favorite in that they're just space pirates. It's all in it for them. They were always a gang, and they're going to end up being a gang in the end too. So we'll be back for more reviews. Until then, I'm Ash. Have a good one. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.